my friend and I talk about a lot is the idea of objective morality. So this is where my like not musings. That's maybe a bit of a like a strong word. My thoughts about this, like first, like I first like started to like debate in my head about it was this idea of objective morality and whether humans could be moral beings without religion. And this is something that's come up in one of your audiobooks that I'm listening to. What I think it's called what God says about God. And you make
God according to God.
Yes, God according to God. That's it. And you make this really interesting and quite amusing point about how we believe as humans that like rationality, and were we to cast aside religion, that rationality would emerge, and we would set forth into this golden human age of reason and enlightenment, like the truest expression of what the Enlightenment was meant to have kicked off. And you kind
all evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, and this really amused me when you put it like this, because I've heard like some people interpreting some of what Nietzsche said in the same way about that God is dead, and that then the 20th century he somewhat predicted that we would oscillate between two extremes of totalitarianism, essentially, as humans struggled to grasp or struggled to give meaning to life without religion. And I was wondering if you'd if there's any would you buy the case that we had to go through that in order to then eventually reach an age of reason, or do you think that this morality has to be set within us from some sort of more divine power?
I think from all the evidence that we have, I remember that I think David Klinker once asked me if I would write a review for I think Consilience. In any event, if you look at the French Revolution, there was an attempt to have total reason. It was right. It was complete enlightenment. They devoured their own. I mean, they ate their own people alive, essentially. And if for some reason, I guess because the difficulty is what's moral for you is not so good for me. And what's moral for me is not so good for you, but I don't care because it's moral for me. I think the white David Wolpe, the rabbi in California, has a book, I think it's the best of all of them, called Why Faith Matters. It's a very small book. And it goes through many of the discussions along this line. But baseline is, it points out all the attempts, the historical attempts in which humans set societies that were religion free, and they became moral free. They became moral free, in other words, immoral. Well, they wouldn't be but they would not. No, that's not fair to say, because those societies did not consider themselves immoral. They just the conception of what we would call morality would have a totally different definition. And the might is right, that would be moral. That could be in a society, that could be completely moral. That you don't want people to, you don't want to leave people around anyway, but they should be sterilized. That would be moral for the benefit of society, etc. So I would say, based on, and I'm not overwhelming, I guess from the outside it would appear that I would extremely religious, but I mean, I'm a fairly moderate person. And I would say that all evidence is that if we try to make up morality, then we miss it out. And I heard once Dennis Prager make the statement that if you have the baseline of the 10 Commandments and what they actually mean, from there on, you can have all different ways in which you'll work. But with those as a baseline, society will probably work with them. So, and I think I would go along with that way. I would be considered an Orthodox Jew, but I'm working now with I call it a mega church in And I mean, for Jews, there's such small congregations. Any church that has 1 million people or so, but I can't think of a mega church in Sao Paulo. Well, it's all over the world, but it's based in Sao Paulo. Today we spent 3 hours on Skype. We do it 2 or 3 times a week, writing what we call the Science Bible, trying to understand some of the subtleties within the text, well, not only from science, but also social science as well. And I have neither they nor I have any problem with the fact that they are devout Christians and I'm a devout Jew. And in the end, when Jesus said the most important sentence in the world is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one," I think it's in Matthew, he was quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. And when he said the next most important sentence is, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," he was quoting Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. So we have a baseline that's pretty much the same. So what am I saying? I'm saying that the deeper you get, I find, the deeper you get into the subtleties of the text, the more you find a wisdom that exceeds what I would think be the wisdom of a person that in other words, without having some kind of base behind it, the wisdom wouldn't be there. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for us in the comments below. Let me know what you thought and if you'd like to see more of this from the show. Thank you, and we'll see you again next time.